Please welcome Medea Benjamin.
So here we are where people all over this country are going back to school at all levels of education, and they're finding their teachers are cut, their libraries are cut, their professors aren't there, their classes are bigger than they should be, because we keep spending money on wars we shouldn't be in. Well, there is one professor whose job should be cut, right? Yes! And that is John Yoo. So let's get one of those pink slips off the clothesline there, and let's symbolically hand that pink slip to somebody who should be losing his job. That is John Yoo. This pink slip is for you. So just think for a minute how Orwellian this scene is. We have a body of legal documents called the Geneva Conventions that's supposed to protect prisoners of war. Well, under the Bush administration, they decided they weren't going to be called prisoners of war. They were going to be called what? Enemy combatants, right. So they didn't have to be protected by the Geneva Conventions. And then they said, oh, there is a body of law that's in these documents that says what you can and can't do to prisoners inside the U.S. The field documents for the military. Well, that wasn't good enough, and so what did they do? They enhanced them. Now think about the term enhancement. Enhancement means to make something better, to improve it, right? I mean, if you can't see well, you use glasses to enhance your vision. So here, they coined this term, enhanced interrogation techniques, to make those interrogation techniques better. Well, we talked about doing a show of waterboarding here, but the people who've done it as part of the symbolism to show how bad it is don't want to even do it anymore because it is so traumatic just to do it as a symbolic kind of thing. There is nothing enhanced about interrogation techniques that lead to people's death. So let us remember when we are here that this is a time for us as the people who pay the taxes for this university to say we are absolutely outraged that John Yoo is not getting the pink slip, that we will be taking a pink slip into the classroom today and say, fire John Yoo! Fire John Yoo! Fire John Yoo! Fire John Yoo! Thank you!
Cynthia, Papermaster.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to come up today. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, but clearly we are not giving up. This law professor should not be teaching a constitutional law class, and I thank the Boalt students so much for speaking up, for organizing, for holding programs, for getting petitions signed. We need to convince the university, and that includes Chancellor Bergeneau, Dean Nat'l. Intentional professional misconduct was committed by John Yoo. That is the finding of the Office of Legal Counsel, Department of Justice. It's incontrovertible, and I don't care which apologists say otherwise. He committed ethics violations and should not be a professor at this university. I'm an alumni, and I am ashamed. Are there other alumni here? Yes. Okay, I imagine you feel the same. This brings shame upon this university. I love this university, and I am ashamed at what they have done here, protecting this accused war criminal and his $250,000 a year job. Please walk with us in the procession. We have gloves over there. You'll see a young woman holding up her bloody red hand right behind you. There are pans of paint. Please just take a little bit, rub it around on one hand only. It's acrylic paint, it's washable. But please march with us in the procession, and thank you again so much for coming today. This is not an issue of academic freedom. Sharon said it well. He has academic freedom. He can publish, he can tour, he can do whatever he wants to. He's an accused war criminal, and he should be in jail. Thank you, everyone.
We welcome alumni, community members, students. We will be in a procession against torture and complicity. We are going into Boalt Hall. We will be walking slowly. We will be representing for the victims of the torture, and we will be promising them and the world that we will not stop until torture is brought to a halt, until rendition is brought to a halt, until those responsible are held fully accountable, prosecuted for war crimes, and imprisoned for the rest of their lives.
World Can't Wait, Code Pink, National Accountability Network, Progressive Democrats of America, Meiklejohn Civil Liberties Institute, the National Lawyers Guild. We all thank you so much for responding to the call to be here today, and we ask you to join us. The Berkeley Says No to Torture Week is an open project. We want everybody in this community to feel like they need to and want to be part of some activity that week that says no to torture. Some people will put on programs. Other people will hold high school teach-ins. We can help you get people to come and speak. The We Are Not Your Soldiers tour can help find Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who are willing to come to speak to high school students and tell the truth about the war. The first person I would really like to introduce, please listen to her carefully. This is Kathy. She is a 10th grade student. She has started a group called Youth Defending Youth, and she has something to say about torture. This is Kathy. Hey,
Kathy! It's not just torture, it's more than that. It's torture to future generations, not just the people that are being tortured today. There are children. Omar Khadr was my age. Look at me. Someone like me. He was just born in a different place, was taken and tortured. Is that what it takes? Is having a different color skin, being born in a different place, doing what all of us would have done if a foreign hostile military occupied our land? He was fighting for freedom, and he was tortured. And John Yoo allowed this to be done to multiple people, multiple innocent men and women and children. Children. And we are not okay with this. And today, we are going to say we want an end to it. We want an end to it now, tomorrow, we want an end to it forever, because it is not okay, and it is not okay now that Obama is president. Right. It will not be okay until it is over, and we pay back Iraq, and we pay back Afghanistan, and we start caring about humanity. Thank you.
Please welcome Janet Weil.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to read from a very powerful and moving statement by the father of a young man who was tortured and murdered at Guantanamo. And then after he was murdered, he and two other men in 2006, the cover story was that they, quote, committed suicide. This is now a legal case in the U.S. court system. Al-Zarani versus Rumsfeld. Let me hear a big boo. Rumsfeld. Boo. Okay, I'm going to read just excerpts of this. It begins this way. May peace and God's blessings be upon you. I wish to address this brief message to President Obama, the U.S. judicial authorities, and the American people. This was March 17th of this year. And I would add to that, to John Yoo, to Dean Nat'l, and to the law professors and law students at this distinguished law school of Boalt. First, I say, Mr. President, the killing of my son at the hands of his guards and under the supervision of the administration of the detention center is a serious and gruesome crime. It is against all human values and ideals, and whoever covers up this gruesome crime or obstructs the criminal and judicial investigations is a co-conspirator with those who have committed the crime itself. It is not unusual in any society to find crime and criminals, but it is a catastrophe when a democratic society that raises the banner of defending human rights stays silent in the face of such a crime. Mr. President, neither you nor your government stand to gain anything by covering up this crime unless you believe in the achievements of former President Bush and his Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld and wish to share in their legacy. And then I'll skip down toward the end. American people, I would like to tell you that the reason hatred against America is spreading all over the world is because you are disregarding people's feelings and showing contempt and disrespect for the lives of others. Too often you let criminals, and that includes who?
John Yoo!
From powerful politicians and decision makers and law professors to low-level perpetrators get away with serious crime. All these people are doing is damaging your reputation and the values that you stand for. Finally, I hope that no one who reads my words will think that I am seeking sympathy for myself or for my son. For no matter what is done, nothing can bring him back to me. However, it is my firm hope that the criminals are held accountable and brought to justice. I want to thank all those who remain concerned with fighting human rights violations. Ta'al al-Zarani.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Sylvester. I'm an independent writer, and I'm here to join you. And I want to ask the question about what kind of education did John Yoo get, and what kind of education is he giving? He came through Harvard, through Yale, through the University of Chicago. He's not an isolated situation. He reflects an entire way of thinking. We have to look at that way of thinking and question the fundamentals of the education here. The fundamentals of that education are subverting the fundamental values of the Constitution. This is a case of a constitutional crisis over an interpretation of the Constitution. And unless we stand up to it now, our children and grandchildren will not have the Constitution that we had when we were younger. The failure to impeach George Bush has left a damaging legal precedent in this country that has not been reversed. And it needs to be reversed. And it is up to the law professors and the law students here to stand up for the Constitution and defend its moral underpinnings.
Great point.
If not, they themselves are contributing to subverting the Constitution. This is a very serious crisis, and John Yoo is the tip of the iceberg. Thank you.
That's right. Yay, yay.